The film and television industry was one of the hardest hit, with production ceasing almost immediately as the pandemic hit. Many of those productions have not come back and they don't know when they're going to start again. Due to the way our employment contracts are set up, many people do not qualify for JobKeeper, and there's no way that we can work from home either. My question for you, Poole, is why have you turned your back on the $117 billion industry that you represent, and why haven't you fought harder for us? The $250 million stimulus package announced in the last week is just a drop in the ocean and really isn't going far enough for the people that you represent.
Well, thanks, Gerald. And look, there's no doubt that this has been devastating for people in the arts and entertainment sector, the screen sector. One of the elements of last week's package that is so important is that $50 million temporary interruption fund for film and television productions, because there's a specific problem in film and television. I've consulted quite extensively with producers. The challenge is putting together their financing packages at the moment because they can't get insurance against a COVID-19 risk that a key cast member or director, for example, might suddenly fall ill and the production can't proceed. This temporary interruption fund is designed to solve that problem so we can get screen and television productions happening again. It reinforces the work that's been done by the Australian Film and Television Radio School, working with people across the industry to develop COVID-safe operating protocols so that it's safe to go on set and get those films and TV productions happening. So what we're focused on with the package is getting activity restarted. In relation to people in the arts and entertainment sector and JobKeeper and JobSeeker, we've got a range of arrangements to support people. I would make the point...
Let's not rehearse through those, though, because we know what they are. I want to take you back to the nub of the question, though, which gets to the quantum. And I guess the real question to be asked here is, why have you capped this industry and not another? Why is this the industry to cap with the amount of money that you'll allow to get this industry back on its feet, whereas with Job Builder, there's no cap? Well,
let's be very clear.
Just tell me why the difference.
Virginia, let's be very clear. That's a Greens talking point. That was an observation that the Greens made.
I don't really care if it's a Greens talking point. It's my question.
But the fact is that
the
great majority of government programs are for a specific amount to do a specific thing. There's nothing at all unusual.
But why cap this one? Because what we know about the arts, apart from it being the first out and the absolute last back in, whenever that might be, in whatever form, it's a multiplier. And it's also the driver of so many other key parts of the economy, whether it be education or whether it be hospitality and the like. So again, just tell me the thinking about why that one's capped.
Well, there is nothing at all unusual about allocating a defined sum of money.
But tell me the thinking behind it.
Well, the thinking was, let's come up with a substantial amount of money that is going to restart activity in the arts sector. So, for example, normally the annual funding to the Australia Council is a bit over $200 million a year. This is a one-time injection of a further $250 million. This is going to make a significant difference in getting productions restarted.
Jump in there, Katie,
Well, if I could jump in, it's actually not $250 million, it's $160. So we just need to remember that 90 of them are concessional loans. So calling it $250 is a little not quite right.
Well, if I can just be clear on that point. So the reason we've included loans is because Live Performance Australia, which represents many arts companies, performers, promoters, proposed that there should be significant loans as part of the package. So we think this will assist promoters, arts companies and so on.
I want to let Katie finish there.
Well, I think actually part of what the questioner was saying is, you know, according to the new approach done last year, you know, the Australian recreation industry employs 600,000 people. And the fine print of the package on Friday said that the JobKeeper package currently supports this sector to the tune of about $100 million per month via JobKeeper and the cash flow stimulus. But the problem is with that, when you do some basic maths, and as we discussed, it's actually only supporting 25,000 artists and arts workers. So that leaves 575,000 that are currently left out of the JobKeeper package. And, you know, on the 8th of April, when our Arts Minister voted no to amendments to allow casuals, freelance artists and all those spectacular humans who have dedicated their life to this sector and fall through the cracks. They are now on job seeker, which is not only less money, but also they've effectively been told, you don't have a real job.
Well, just a couple of things there. First of all, that amendment you're talking about, let's be clear, that was a second reading amendment moved by the Labor Party in the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Bill Shorten.
No, but the point's important.
Stop talking about us.
The point is important. If that amendment had been passed,
knock yourself out.
The whole bill, the whole stimulus program, JobKeeper, would not have proceeded. Oh, now, Labor said they supported JobKeeper, and yet they moved this amendment, which was, you know, it was politics. Okay. They'd never expected or wanted it to pass because they knew.
I don't want to get lost down that rabbit hole
if
of
that
politics.
happened,
well, but even if we move on from that point,
Katie and then Bill Shorten. Yeah, Katie.
I was just going to say, let's even happy to move on from that point, but the fact is only 25,000 arts workers and artists are receiving JobKeeper, and the statistics are there are 600,000.
Can I just clarify something?
No, I'm going to go to Bill Shorten, then I'll go back to you, Minister, and I want to hear from the rest of the panel too. Bill Shorten.
Going back to the question which the filmmaker Jared made was this. I think that, again, it's good that they're doing something, so I'm not going to totally rubbish that. But the issue with JobKeeper is that it only goes for permanent employees.
Yeah.
So the point that's being made is if you're a makeup artist, a contractor, a freelance artist, a casual, and the nature of this industry, like many industries, is you don't have permanent employment. So in the good times, we rely on this deregulated employment market to deliver services. But in the bad time, they can't get JobKeeper. And I think two simple improvements to make to the package, Paul. One, make it accessible for casuals and a whole lot of people who work in this industry every day. We can't just wish them away when it's difficult and ignore what happens. The other thing is, are we really going to just stop everything on September the 25th? Because if we do, we're going to fall off a cliff. I know the government's got a report about the future of JobKeeper, but you've got a by-election this Saturday and you're not releasing the report till after the by-election. I mean, that does sound political.
Well, what we're doing is we are considering carefully that report, that work on what the future of JobKeeper is. The Treasurer has made it very clear. We've got a review underway. There's an economic statement coming in late July.
Okay,
that's when we will announce what, if anything, we do.
We'll come to that a bit later in our conversation as well. Sue Morphet, from your perspective, I guess you can see the multiplier effect that I was speaking of earlier when it comes to the performing arts and the entertainment and the arts sector. Has the government acted as it should in order to support that when the floor fell out?
I think it's far too late because the people that are in this sector have had significantly reduced incomes and not able to tap into JobKeeper, as we're saying. The second thing is we know that it supports so many businesses outside and it's internationally competitive, our arts sector. So we should be doing everything we can to keep it viable. We could be doing everything we can to keep the participants in that sector viable so that then in turn they are prepared and ready to go back. One of the things about the people who work in the arts is that they know that they're never going to have, many of them know that they're never going to have great full-time work, and so therefore they rely on other industries to prop up their income, such as hospitality, accommodation and the likes. And so that's also decimated. So this is a real wipeout for a sector and for many, many people who are working in it.
Yasmin?
I mean, I would also touch upon, when we're talking about necessary reforms, the JobKeeper payment actually inherently discriminates against young people, especially through casual work, and also the fact that young people in the arts and young people more broadly are still subject to, they're still viewed as dependent under the age of 22, which means that young people that aren't relying on their parents' income may still be ineligible for JobKeeper and suffer as a result. And secondly, I'd also, when we talk about the multiplier effect of the arts industry, it's also important to consider that we can't just view the arts industry in a silo. You know, I was thinking about it, and we've all been young once, right? And music and the arts is so absolutely
one of the few truths in this room.
It's true, but absolutely important to the experience of being young. You know, music and the arts validates, you know, your soul, your emotions, your feelings. So I guess to silence the arts industry, in a sense, also silences young people. So it's vitally important that we can't let this industry go dark.
Can I say I'm in heated agreement with Yasmin and with Sue. one of the reasons we're supporting the arts sector in this way is because when you go and see a show, you very often go to a bar and have a drink, you go to a restaurant and have a meal, you might stay overnight in a hotel because you've travelled there. The multiplier effects are significant.
Yes,
economic activity in the arts is important, as well as all the intrinsic reasons why the arts is so important.
Can I put in a plea to save Channel 31 and Channel 44 then? Their community radio, just putting it out there.
I will
do a deal here.
I will say that I received a number of questions on that. We have to move on to our next question, but do you want to very quickly say that you're going to save Channel 31, yes or no?
I can announce tonight that we will be extending Channel 31 and Channel 44 for another 12 months.
I've got a few other asks as well.
So,
we're on the roll.
That's the only thing you're going to get out of it, but we'll have more to say.
For 12 months only?
For 12 months. Let's be clear, it's been our policy since 2014 that these community television stations should move to operating in a digital mode, and both Channel 31 in Melbourne, Channel 44 in Adelaide have several times said yes, they're going to make that transition. They have been extended several times. I've agreed now, and we'll be announcing it formally tomorrow, to extend for a further 12 months for both of those channels. But we will be using this period to work through with them what needs to happen for them to successfully transition to digital operations so that we can still have community TV as a great place where people can work, can make programs, be responsive to the community, and then disseminate using digital.
So you will, at the end of 12 months, or during those 12 months, you will assist them materially, financially, if you have to, in order to, this is a question, in order to get them to the digital platform they need to be on, and therefore you can take the spectrum away.
We want to work with them to assist, work with them on that transition.
Money?
We're not at that point yet. But
money.
But what we want to do is work with Channel 31 and Channel 44 in Melbourne and Adelaide. We think the best way for them to operate is in a digital mode. That's been the government's policy since 2014. We're going to spend the next 12 months on that.
That's one win for Q&A.
They will extend.
We should get more government ministers.
There's going to be quite a few people claiming credit for that tomorrow, Bill. But well done. That's what I'm happy to share with.
That is indeed good news. Thank you.